Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Right, so we are starting season 36 again. This is going to be a 9-war season, so I'm going to start numbering the wars that way. It's going to be war 1 out of 9. Just a reminder, for this season, New Nation isn't really pushing. We're basically not using 3-minute boosts or particularly fast about healing at all, primarily focusing on 1 loyalty revives. We're going to take any wins that present us, and other than that, you know, we're just going to clear the maps and see what happens. But that also has the potential of opening up to some more different matchups than you otherwise would see, more clutch fights perhaps, and also inevitably it will involve me getting KO'd more often, probably, most likely. So this time we're up against Hannibal Lecters, and this alliance is fairly interesting because typically they play 2 battle group wars, and they are like the strongest 2 battle group war alliance, so they had a massive war rating. And this season they are kind of intentionally using to lose in order to be able to push properly season 37. So the score in the end of the war is going to be extremely interesting. It's going to be very hard to compete with that. But that being said, we still need to do our fights, and this time around I'm using a big boy team. So we have big boy Joe Fixit, big boy Nimrod, big boy Kingpin, and I'm happy to announce that every single one of those champions actually do get at least one fight in this war. So it's going to be quite interesting. I'm going to be starting up on path 9 in section 1. It is kind of like my most frequently taken path. However, I was assigned some different champions for this one. However, I spoke with White Mummy and we decided to go with Kingpin and Joe Fixit instead. Primarily because of that Null that is after this Havoc, because Null is a bit of a dodgy fight there. So I do have full boost stash, and as we can see I have plenty of them in overflow as well, especially the green ones. So I will boost up some. I'm not too fast about using them at all, especially if I plan to do some arena grinding afterwards, which is exactly what I did. So this first fight against Havoc is fairly straightforward. I need to wait out the incinerate phase, and then when the poison phase starts, I can just start laying into the guy and do as much damage as I can. You know, it's not going to be the cleanest or smoothest fight, but, you know, it's nothing too crazy. I should have went for level 1 and then level 2 in this fight, and I made that mistake because typically if you're running Liquid Courage Double Edge against pretty much everybody, maybe not Havoc, because Havoc does have high energy resistance, but against pretty much any other mutant, 1 level 2 from rank 4 6200 is enough if you're running Liquid Courage Double Edge. If you're not running Liquid Courage Double Edge, then you might end up being short. And that is going to be exactly the case what happens here. As you can see that he's at like 5% after that special attack, which means I'm going to have to wait out another cycle of Incinerate. But again, it's fine. As long as I have my armor up, so I'm not too bothered. I do get 1 Incinerate on me that does tick for decent amount of damage because of that Fury, but it's all good. Not the biggest deal in the world. We can see that he has Power Drain. He has, covered this on him. The fight finishes shortly afterwards. And now next up, I need to deal with this Null. And this fight's kind of annoying because you have reduced ability accuracy for each debuff, so obviously Null is a great placement here. I've previously done this fight with CGR, and it really wasn't all that easy just because of your parry, and then if you get cornered, obviously his heavy attack is not the easiest to dex out completely out of the corner, and then if you get reverse control, then the fight can go sideways quite quickly. But I will be just using Kingpin, and we're going to be smashing in there. So he's going to be placing debuffs on me. I get debuffs from Hazard Shift, so that means my overpower buffs are going to be coming in fast and thick. And here we can see that I used level 2, that pretty much completely annihilates that Null. And now a couple more hits, and the fight is over. Not perfect fight, but also not too stressful. I wasn't actually meant to take this Tedx. However, I figured Kingpin should have a fairly easy time taking this, especially with Joe Fixit's synergy. He only has power efficiency node, and then we have Hazard Shift, which, you know, arguably just works in Kingpin's favor to begin with. And since these aren't like super serious wars, stuff like that, you know, I'm just gonna try and be cheeky, get in a few more fights for videos, and do that. because this isn't a regular season. There's no real incentive to try and push for top 3, so we're not. And whatever we end up with, you know, it's going to be fine. And here, obviously, I'm just waiting out for his rock field to go away. Then I start striking him. You can see that I actually didn't get many, if any, hazard shift procs there from the first combo. But I'm at 6 rage charges. That's awesome. Don't really care. I'm going to bait out that level 1. And again, just be a bit patient in this fight. Now, Tedx is a conduit defender, so any energy damage I deal to him, he's going to heal most of it back, as we're going to be able to see here in just a second. However, he's also a shock immune champion, so I knew that knocking him down once is perfectly fine. And that's kind of the trick. You need to be aware of what order those debuffs come, but for most part, because almost nobody is like immune to plasma or something like that, you just need to be aware of the champions that are shock immune, because against them, you do get 1 knockdown in the fight that you do not get penalized for, because they can't get a shock debuff placed on themselves with a shock immune, and conduit doesn't matter then in that case. And just like in this fight, you know, it was enough to knock down Tedx just once, and nothing bad happened. He didn't get that mega heal or whatever it is. Right, and then the next fight, this I recorded, well, cut it separately, just that Tedx fight. The next fights, again, I'm back on path 9 in section 2. First fight is going to be Toad, and it's going to be slightly ugly fight, but I'm going to be using Nimrod, so it's borderline impossible to die here. So we're going to put up a bit of boosts, and again, I did these fights just before my morning arena stream, just so I have a slightly easier time grinding. And here the situation is quite similar. I just want to parry a bunch, get my armor ups up before the bleed phase starts, and then I can start laying in Toad. Now, I'm going to make a mistake here where he intercepts me, and his heavy attack is a bit dodgy to evade in corner. So I do need to keep that in mind, but, you know, it's not the biggest problem there. And here, again, I missed my opportunity to finish off this fight, and he's going to actually get to lay in those heavy attacks on me a bit. But I'm in Titan Protocol, and whilst I'm in Titan Protocol, you can see that he's unable to do pretty much any damage. And then I just decided I'm going to drop my level 2, and that's going to finish off the fight. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Not a big problem. Not the, you know, cleanest fight at all, because I got cornered, and that heavy attack is a bit tricky. But it's all good. And now I need to go up against Mephisto. Now this fight is a bit trickier, but Mephisto is a conduit defender as well. However, a teammate of mine had already taken care of the boss at this point, so I didn't have to worry about conduit, because, well, if I did, I would just slow play and never knock down Mephisto. I'd save up to my level 3 and be done with it. And here, basically, it's a straightforward fight. Just be careful of his aura. Whenever he does get the aura, don't be super aggressive. Bait out the level 1s, and, you know, be happy. And here, his soul imprisonment expired just in time, so I am able to get my overpower buff as well. Since there's no conduit anymore, I can drop my level 1 that inflicts degeneration on him, which is, you know, all good stuff. And he's degening there. Now I'm just baiting out his level 1. And he does have 5 armor ups, which I probably should have tried to get rid of, but figured it's going to be fine. And now I drop another level 1, and again, he's at 15% here. There's not too much left. I just need to close out this fight. This is also the last fight I'm using Kingpin for, so remaining health is not really a big deal here at all. I probably could have been more aggressive if I wanted to. And this was meant to be it. I already had stolen one fight this war, which was the Tedx. But at the end of my stream, kind of noticed that there is a Ebony Maw that kind of seems to be ripe for taking. I mean, it wasn't the best matchup. I'll concede to that. I'll concede to the fact that there are champions that would be better counters for this fight. Especially after I did a couple of duels and I realized I can't really retaliate his heavy attack with a heavy attack of my own, so it might not be the easiest time knocking him down. But I figured it'd be cool if Joe Fixit would be able to take this fight. So I put on like a 20% champion boost, no other boosts or anything else there. And yeah, I'm just gonna go in and we're gonna smack that Ebony Maw around a bit. So you can see here, first combo, I do accidentally parry there, which was by accident. Now I do need to keep an eye on that falter timer, but it's fine. We're gonna drop our first level 1. It's inflicted a weakness, which, you know, is also always neat and helpful. Now I have full stack of spades, and that gives me extra crit damage and crit attack. We can see I crit there for like 10k already. Now I'm gonna get another falter, and I'm not too fast about brute force because brute force isn't dealing all that much damage, with class advantage being in my favor in this fight. And I did get, you know, one of the hearts, so that kind of lets me heal up a bit. Now he's bleeding there a bunch again. I didn't want to parry, I just wanted to block this one or Dex out of the way, but, you know, happens. And here I just want to squeeze in like one combo before the fight finishes. Sorry, before the falter comes, and that also finishes the fight there. And that was my final fight in the war. So we did take, what, 6 fights? No potions used, no revives necessary, no class boosts, no 3-minute boosts. In other words, perfect wars for season 36 for me. All my champions are relatively healthy. And the final death count is kind of funny. Well, here we can see that, you know, most of my team didn't use any items either. But the final death count here is funny. They died 264 times. I mean, that they are dying on purpose a lot because they do want to lower their war rating and whatnot. But yeah, it's quite crazy. But that is pretty much, I guess, what you can expect from my war videos in season 36. I'm going to be using maybe slightly different champions, maybe stealing some fights or taking fights I shouldn't take. But we're still going to try our best not to die. We're still going to, you know, try to win and all that other stuff. Just we don't want to use any loyalty pretty much at all. And that's kind of like the main point of this season. Speaking of, after today's war, I think I actually can rank for a new champion because I'll have over 500k loyalty and I can buy half a tier 3 alpha, which will work out perfectly. Either way, let me know what you guys thought of this war. How is your team approaching war in season 36? And I'm going to catch you guys later. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the next